Hello all. Today is our 14th session of Global uh, Oncology Implementing Science course programs, Global Oncology University. We have today very exciting session and some news also. The first news that uh, 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 you know that we don't count only on participants to listen or to watch these videos or these sessions, but we count in addition to live participation, we count on that all are recorded and it is kept on our webs, and any colleagues would like to add a link for these sessions. So it is permanent library and a forum, permanent discussions, permanent topic, hot topic always about how to increase affordability of better value cancer care. We see that, and not me, but many of us, and maybe most of the world, see that this is a very hot topic. But how to do? As we discussed before many times, we are not repeating, but this is because it is the issue. How to do this via scientific approaches, not by talks, not by slogans, not by hundreds of articles about disparities and equality, but scientific work. We are doctors, we are pharmacists, we are physicians, we are physicists, we are chemists. So it's our work to find solutions with economists and with other stakeholders. So the news that eCancer, one of our partners in this program, eCancer Medical Science, now sent today that all the last sessions, 13 sessions, and the upcoming session also is appeared today in eCancer alert. So it is more visibility, more spread to the world of our world. So, and this is our role also, all of us, to this is not just talks for 1 hour or 1 hour and a half or something, but it is a permanent message conveyed by you. You are the leader, you are the ambassadors, and transform this message to be action by many. Will succeed only if these notions adopted by many, led by many, owned by many. It is a forum for all. Today, I am also the second news that that after today we are presenting a very exciting topic. Is about repurposing drugs and medical devices in oncology, and we have the honor and the pleasure that we have today Dr. Claire Thibodeau, and she will present after my talk about, to be practical, what opportunities, what great opportunities cure within reach. United States, Claire Thibodeau is Dr. Claire Thibodeau is the Vice President for Scientific Affairs. They presented a lot of opportunities for grants for research in fields of repurposing. Is for many colleagues in the United States, in the West, and particularly they have some offers, some grants for low middle income countries. Some of our colleagues in low middle income countries gained these grants, and they are doing the research, and some of them publish. So it is not just theoretical talk or about repurposing and devices. And we need advocate for it, and we need also that industry and people who fund these things take care of research in repurposing and of cancer drugs and medical device. Uh, 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 the third news that after, as I told you before, after this exciting topic, we'll start next week a series of about radiation oncology, clinical oncology, radio biomaterials, and there are talks also from industry. And next week we have an event in Tanzania. It will be part of our virtual about what we will say in there in Tanzania virtually will be part of the course of next Wednesday. It's interesting. It's not just even in Tanzania, but it is a project, big project, funded by United States to make a center of excellence in Tanzania, Cancer Center of Excellence Tanzania. And this is the beginning of its launch in presence of on site. I'll not be there, but my brother Wilfred Negwa and Steve and Siful may be there, but surely my brother Professor Twalib Ngoma. And this is a translation of what we say. What is not a secret to say what I'll present that to say how it could be win-win. It is not charity from this country to this country, but all should win via scientific approaches. And the next question, could Africa and Asia, South Asia, Latin America, and East Europe, and all, even in communities in affluent countries, could contribute in science and progress of cancer? Yes, yes. And this is what we would like to say, that this cancer of excellence will be not for people of Tanzania only, but for the progress of science and progress of more benefits for the taxpayer in United States. That is what I stressed on. It should be win-win. Otherwise, it would be not sustainable. It would be like charity as other many projects, something transitory and after disappear. Now I hope that I'm not bothering you with this long introduction. Now we have some participant. We'll start my talk, and please, Dr. Clark, introduce yourself first, 2-3 minutes, and then my talks, and please comment and give your advice on what I said, and you will present your presentation, and the floor will be yours from 5 minutes till 5:30 for any question directed to Dr. Claire Thibodeau. Dr. Claire.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really honored to be joining you for the Global Oncology Implementing Science course. And thanks to everybody who's organized this and who has an interest in developing therapies for patients around the globe, but particularly in low and lower middle income countries. As Ahmed said, my name is Claire Thibodeau. I am the director or the vice president of scientific affairs with Cures Within Reach. I am looking forward to today's presentation. I have a recorded video after the course content, and I will be happy to share any updates on our funding program for LMICs after the video and take any questions. So again, thank you, and can't wait to start the course.
Thank you very much, and we are deeply grateful to you. Now, the first lecture is long, but it would present the base, some scientific base, exciting scientific base, and why we are very excited about this approach really to that could serve cancer patients everywhere in the world.
Hello. We are starting now the 14th session of Global Oncology University Global Oncology Implementing Science course program. The decision today is very exciting as it deals with repurposing and repositioning drugs and devices in cancer care. I am Ahmed Zawawi, Chair Win-Win Initiative, Chair of Board of Directors of Global Oncology University, the GOIS, and is our website, founder and president of ISODOC Experts in Cancer Without Borders, international campaign for establishment and development of oncology centers that was registered in Texas, past president of Aortic, African Organization of Research for Research and Training in Cancer, professor of clinical oncology, South Carolina University, Ismailia, and chairman of Al Suleiman Radiation and Clinical Oncology Center, Port Said, Egypt. The lecture of today, based on chapter 23 of our book, Approaching Global Oncology, the Win-Win Model. Course directors are Professor Eduardo Gazap, David Kerr, Kira Sikora, Wilfred Nigua, Cristina Stefan, Toalib Ngoma, Ricardo Odesio, and Luca Incroci, and I. Slide prepared by Dr. Maran Montasser, clinical oncologist, Ismailia, Egypt, and reviewed by me. Disclosure of conflicts none. Note you notice that the most of our slides, the text is not short, few words or few words or lines. Also, as much as possible, we add some reference. It is intentionally to be used as PDF material for all who would like to receive a copy. Also reference, then you can see the reference and you search for, the list of reference in each reference. So all are based on published lectures. I don't claim any invention. Not one along the GOIS program in this short lecture. We don't only transfer some information in passive way, but also we raise brainstorming points and not a funding point. The objective is that all will win. All your feedback are considered. As we get together, the Win-Win Initiative and the GOIS adopted the flexibility of source, free flows of ideas, classic and innovative approaches, and that all be focused on scientific and practical implementation to increase affordability of better value cancer care. There is no need to repeat in details here that the skyrocketing rise in cost of drug therapy, particularly newer cancer drugs. There is an increase in the crisis and lack of affordability of cancer care in the world. No need to repeat details. This is known. Okay, the development of new cancer is not enough for cancer management, in particular when we consider the escalation of high prices. Newer indications of all the drugs and innovative indications and uses of all our drugs constitute one of the approaches that deserve more research, incentives, and regulation. More research, incentives, and regulations. There are two chapters, 23, 24 in our last book, and this upcoming lecture, two days, and the third also after this two lectures today also is the third will be presented by Dr. Clara Sibido, PhD, Vice President of Cure Within Reach, about present opportunity for grants for research in such domain in different parts of the world. One of the several scientific approaches that the Win-Win movement advocates is to conduct scientific studies of the uses of all the drugs. This is one of the approaches. We present many approaches and based all on publications and work of many authors in the world and many distinguished scientists. Either to conduct scientific studies of use of all the drugs, either single or innovative combination, or for newer indications for diseases. These include terms such as repurposing. Look here for these terms: repurposing, repositioning, reprofiling drugs, or indication switching. A considerable reduction in the cost of treatment could be achieved, along with the increase in the discoveries of and the newer indication of the value of all the drugs and devices. here, we do not to be confused much in these definitions. I would like to say that here we adhere to the definition of repurpose, as stated clearly by Dr. Clark Sebido and others in next chapter and next lecture in this program. Repurposing is finding a new disease indication for a drug, device, or nutraceutical already approved for human use. Nutraceutical mean is pharmacological term meaning is a pharmacological term meaning functional food. So it is already approved for human use. While repositioning is also of interest or rescue, finding an indication for a compound that is safe for human but is still in the pipelines. Just for information, there are also some common works on veterinary drugs that may have new and safe indication in human, but this is not the topic of this lecture or book. But it is also deserve studies, needs studies. Repurposing, repositioning in oncology, cancer drugs, one of the leading causes of this globally. In the recent decade, a great deal of work has been conducted in very costly research of new oncology cancer therapies. The creation of new drugs require large quantities of financial capital. The cost range between 161 to 1,800 million dollars per pharmaceutical product. Even it would be more in 2024 than these estimations. Prerequisites of new oncology drug innovation. One, extensive experimentation and testing are required to support the innovators' recognition of identifiable targets and justifications. Two, the establishment of the principal compound. Three, subsequent studies into efficacy, pharmacokinetics, and toxicity. Four, after this laborious process, a minimum number of possible oncology drugs each clinical trial, which with a fraction considered to be around 5% only of these possible drugs. Five, if the three phases of clinical trial are successful, the new compound can be authorized for use in therapeutic settings. It has been estimated that the time for development of new drugs from beginning to the end was from 11 to 0.4 to 13.5. This is a range for estimation, but it is more than 10 years. Repurposing categories, we classified 5 categories as preliminary proposal for repurposing based on broad notion, hence it compromise the repositioning. Here this is preliminary categories we propose is one, drugs single or and in combination for human for different uses including cancer. 2, nutraceutical. 3, diagnostic device and procedures. 4, treatment device. 5, drugs for veterinary uses. Just this to be just categories we propose, and if any other proposal, welcome, sure. Examples of scientific approaches of scientific drugs related to cancer, according to what published in before, we identify several scientific tactics for drugs repurposing. Single all the drugs. B, newer combination of all the drugs that with new indication and benefits in cancer. A, okay, single all the drugs. 1, all the cancer drugs, new uses in cancer, potential new profits. We consider profits because we are in the real world. Otherwise, nobody will listen to us. So 1 is all the cancer drug new uses in cancer. 2, all the new cancer drug new uses in cancer. The difference here is the first is all the cancer drug, and this is all the non-cancer drug, but could be used in cancer with potential new profits. 3, all the cancer drugs new uses in non-cancer and potential new profits. B, new combination of all the cancer drug with new indication and benefits in cancer. You see that this field is rich. All the cancer drugs, new uses in cancer, new profits. exploring new indication or different methods and schedule of the administration of older and relatively cheaper previously approved cancer drugs that could be beneficial in cancer. For example, cisplatin, metronomic oral therapy, and estradiol. Cisplatin, relatively old and expensive cancer drug. It is shown to be useful in treatment triple-negative breast cancer. All of you know this. But recent studies investigate the possibility of whether platinum salts in the treatment of BRCA-associated breast cancer could be considered as a true targeted chemotherapy or not. True targeted chemotherapy. Randomized triple-negative cancer showed a significant benefit for carboplatin versus docetaxel in terms of positive rate and progression-free survival. The metronomic oral therapy, metronomic chemotherapy is defined as repeated, here is the definition, one of the definitions we like very much, is defined as repeated administration of anti-neoplastic drugs and comparatively low doses, frequently, and without long drug-free periods and less side effects. Previously, it was thought that they act by targeting angiogenesis. This is what we knew in some years, but recently, additional mechanisms has been discovered, which has established metronomic therapy is a type of multi-targeted therapy. Metronomic oral therapy could be a multi-targeted therapy. Detailed pharmacogenomic and pharmacoproteomic studies on tumor endothelial cells and large multi-center clinical trials integrating biomarker analysis are needed to investigate and validate the best treatment combination for such tumor type and patient population. Metronomic administration of chemotherapy has long been recognized, having a different biological effect from maximal tolerated dose. MTD, it is different. The metronomic use of prolonged low oral dose of the old and cheap drugs, cyclophosphamide and methotrexate, are used as palliative treatment for metastatic breast cancer. A number of preclinical and clinical studies in solid tumor as well as multiple myeloma have been reported regarding several chemotherapy drugs which has been proposed as metronomic schedule as vinorabine, cyclophosphamide, capecitabine, methotrexate, etoposide, sorafenib. Moreover, there are a recent study on the absorption of oral gemcitabine. Not yet, but there are studies. Estradiol, estradiol in aromatase inhibitor-resistant hormone receptor-positive advanced cancer. In phase 2, this is very interesting trial done in 2009, but nobody take it after. But despite that could be done in different countries, maybe with different results and cheap drugs. In phase 2 trials, low doses 6 milligram per day oral estradiol achieved the same response of the usual dose of 30 milligram per day in approximately 30% of patients with fewer adverse events than with the usual dose in postmenopausal women with aromatase inhibitor resistant hormone receptor positive advanced breast cancer. Aromatase inhibitor resistant hormone receptor positive breast cancer, advanced breast cancer. Moreover, this avoid the high dose of 30 milligram per day of estradiol with its reported cardiovascular effect. Estradiol in triple-negative breast cancer, potential treatment for subset of triple-negative breast cancer. Estrogen B receptor B, a second form of estrogen receptor, is expressed in approximately 25% of triple-negative breast cancer tumors. In triple-negative breast cancer, estradiol binds with estrogen receptor B, stimulating the expression of a group of protein called cystatins, which exhibit tumor-suppressing effects on neighboring and distant cancer cells. Continue. But this is 2. All the non-cancer drug, new uses in cancer, potential new profits. An old safe molecule of all the non-cancer drug may have unexpected use in cancer prevention and cancer treatment. Set example of non-cancer drug repurposing for the treatment of cancer. We have a table here we'll present now. And metformin, antidepressant drug paroxetine, a combination of the doxycycline, azithromycin, and vitamin C as potent therapy for targeting mitochondria and eradicating cancer stem cell. Certain examples of non-cancer drug repurposing for treatment of cancer. Here is the list. This is just 30 example. You see here many drugs that we know, like chloroquine, like thalidomide, which is now used in cancer, and many other drugs. You find here, this is just example. Statins. This is a nice article of Panti Ziarka, EL, repurposing drugs in oncology database, e-cancer medical science. See certain example of non-cancer drugs repurposing. It is found of the dozens. It was found that dozens of non-oncology drugs approved for diabetes, inflammation, alcoholism, arthritis, and even lowering cholesterol and other non-cancer medications that also kill cancer cells. They analyzed thousands of nearly already developed drugs and discovered nearly 50 new previously undiagnosed anti-cancer actions. The team at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, the famous MIT, and Harvard University, and other institutions tested all the compounds in the drug repurposing hub in 578 human cancer cells from broad cancer cell lines encyclopedia. Most of these cancer drugs hit new unrecognized molecular targets. So unrecognized molecular targets. This new discovery also. This finding could lead to identification of biomarkers and patients who are more likely to respond. Metformin, are many controversies about this. It still needs further study, but we see it here because it deserves sitting. Biguanide, widely used by type 2 diabetes. It is an expensive oral drug taken by tablet. It shows significant growth inhibitor factor in several cancer cells in mouse and tumor cells in mouse tumor models. In cell culture, metformin inhibits the proliferation of range of cancer cells, including breast, prostate, colon, lung, endometrial, ovarian, and glioma. Despite the encouraging studies in vitro and epidemiological data for different tumor types, results from randomized clinical trial on metformin are mostly unsatisfactory. Still, with the use of metformin, it is postulated that there is enhanced antiplastic activity of the kinase inhibitor. The enthusiasm remains for understanding the role of metformin in cancer via ongoing clinical researches. It's worthwhile to note that each tablet costs around 20-25 cents. This is in the United States, but it's different from one country. But anyway, it is very cheap. It's cheap in comparison to others. Drugs. Tablets are taken twice daily. Despite the low price, the cost to run clinical trial, which involve collecting blood sample, would cost millions of dollars. So even the research should be studied well before. Should make a study before we do the study to see how the potentiality of success or probability of success or the hypothesis. At the moment, more than 80 actively recruiting clinical trials are open. One of the new exciting studies is that metformin has shown directly inhibit the sonic hedgehog pathway, a key pathway in basal cell carcinoma. Pathogenesis, in addition, it has general anti-carcinogenic effect. Hence, it may reduce basal cell carcinoma. Our point of view here, the win-win initiative point of view, is the effect of metformin on basal cell carcinoma could be tested and subjected to more trials, as it should be a valuable benefit for white-skinned people, particularly in countries such Australia and South Africa. Antidepressant drug, paroxetine, a study by Karolinska Institute in Sweden and MD Anderson Cancer Center Texas has found that may stop that paroxetine may stop growth of child Ewing sarcoma, at least in mice laboratory cell experiments. The study explored commonalities between the two, the large group of cell surface receptor, the so-called G protein coupled receptor, and the receptor tyrosine kinase. The first one targeted by more than half of all developed drugs to treat conditions such as allergies, asthma, depression, anxiety, and hypertension, but have so far not been widely used to treat cancers. Paroxetine is a part of the first group protein coupled receptors, but also as receptors, tyrosine kinase, on the other hand, are targeted by drugs against cancer, such as breast colon cancer, due to their implication in a variety of cellular abnormalities. A study revealed a rational design for repurposing of drug to selectively cross-target the AGF1R and other RTK, as we said. Therefore, it demonstrates what we could be described as system bias as an effective anti-cancer approach to drug repurposing. The researchers plan for further study of multiple TRKs and for conducting clinical research in Ewing sarcoma. It may be extended to explore possibility of action on other tumors like breast and colon cancer. This represents a new era for class of cancer-relevant RTKs. It could be a beginning for rational design of specific drug in other cancer types with known all the drugs that care in clinical use at a lower cost. Maybe a combination doxycycline, adenosine, vitamin C has as a potent therapy for targeting mitochondria and eradicating cancer stem cell. A previous study has shown that cancer stem cells are the root cause of chemotherapy resistance. Because it's important to search also for resistance. It may be, as you all of us know, the drug may be sensitive, the tumor may be sensitive, but after resistance developed. So it is important to this point is important. Research conducted by a team from University of Salford, UK, led by Michael Listany, showed that the Food and Drug Administration approved antibiotic doxycycline and erythromycin could be used to target the production of 30 key protein. Hence, they stop energy supply in stem cell. Vitamin C could act as mild pro-oxidant and consequently amplify the effect. They found that the new inexpensive non-cancer drug combo could reduce stem cell growth by more than 90% in laboratory tests. Here is a short break. If you would like to have to send chat or something, please, a question. And this is the email to this feedback at feedback@isodoc.website. 3 new uses for chemotherapy drugs in non-malignant indications. Gemcitabine, this is very exciting part, really. Gemcitabine, all of us know gemcitabine. Imatinib, all of us know this, tuberculosis, but in what? In tuberculosis, yes. Imatinib may slow the course of the type 1 diabetes. Strange, but it happened. Fluorescein in repairing skin wrinkles and sun damage. Gemcitabine. Perhaps many may not remember that gemcitabine was first developed as antiviral drug. So may our use of gemcitabine as anti-cancer drug itself is repurposed from its original development as antiviral. So the concept of repurposing is not new. So it deserves really more study and research. It deserves. Gemcitabine is used as cancer chemotherapy alone or in combination with other drugs for various types of cancer, including pancreatic, bladder, lung, and uterine cervix. Gemcitabine was found to active against 19 different strains of penicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus and against glycoprotein intermediate Staphylococcus aureus, a strain resistant to all glycopeptide antibiotics, including vancomycin. The repurposed use of gemcitabine in such cases would be a life-saving. This repurposed use would be a life-saving. Resistance to gemcitabine could develop untreated Staphylococcus aureus. However, gemcitabine was found to have synergistic activity with gentamicin. And if used in combination, emergence resistance to these drugs may be slowed. This is another also solution for another rising problem. Imatinib in tuberculosis. Yes. According to the World Health Organization, estimated that nearly 2 billion people are infected with Mycobacteria tuberculosis. Almost 1.5 million die from disease each year. It's tragic. Some strains of bacteria have become resistant to many or all of the available antibiotics. Worldwide in 2019, close to 500,000 people developed rifampicin-resistant tuberculosis, of which 78% had a multi-drug resistance. Imatinib is widely used drug in treatment of chronic myelogenous leukemia, as all of you know, and in gastrointestinal stromal tumors, as you know. It inhibits constitutive tyrosine kinase in activity of PCR ABL protein, as you know. Also, this is known, but what is here surprisingly is that imatinib, and it's in some years, by the way. Imatinib is a potential host-directed therapeutic for drug-resistant tuberculosis infection and HIV, TB co-infections, which with less than 1/10 of the dose used in chronic myeloid leukemia, with less than 1/10 of the dose used in chronic myeloid leukemia. By targeting the host, not the mycobacteria itself, researchers were able to reduce the host mycobacteria and even target antibiotic resistance rate, and all while enhancing the effectiveness of frontline antibiotic. Phase 2 trial is currently assessing the capacity of low-dose imatinib to induce myelopoiesis and enhance host antimicrobial immunity against tuberculosis. Imatinib may slow the type 1 diabetes, the course of type 1 diabetes. A phase 2 study has shown that imatinib prevents diabetes and induced remission of recent onset diabetes in preclinical study by preventing beta cell function in people with recently diagnosed type 1 diabetes. And here is the reference. Please note this win-win initiative point of view. It is for your kind consideration, comments, and suggestions for all. Once again, we emphasize the win-win point of view. The idea of finding wider uses of inexpensive cancer drugs such as imatinib in different repurposing evidence-based indication could be a smart and scientific way to achieve the wider use and sales of a drug and potentially to increase the access to cancer treatment. This, in addition to increase the value of a drug and beneficial indications that serve patients and with different diseases. All the cancer drugs new use in non-cancer potential new profit. Also, again, we insist it could be a potential new profit. Fluorescein in repairing skin wrinkles and sun damage. You imagine. Sachiel showed that the cancer drug fluorescein could be used as skin cream to help repair of sun damage and skin wrinkles on the face. In the past, when I was young in Paris, we used Effudix, which is fluorescein for basal cell carcinoma for all the age who can be superficial lesions in skin. But it was for cancer, for small basal cell carcinoma or something, when we can remove it or make brachytherapy or something. So it was called at that time the Effudix, the trade name. When used topically, it causes epidermal injury that enhance wound healing and dermal remodeling, resulting in better appearance. The mechanism of topical fluoride seen in photo-aged skin is comparable of that seen with laser treatment of photo-aging. New combination of older cancer drug with new indications and benefits in cancer. One of the exciting scientific exploration is the repurposed new combination of older drugs. Research performed 300,000 experiments to test. It was done to test 5,000 different combinations of 100 approved cancer drug. Is done. This was done in each of 60 cell lines developed by the National Cancer Institute in the United States. The new repository of data would be made available to the public in this site. It hopes that it will provide investigation insight to potential drug combination to target or avoid. The NCI hopes to accelerate the advancement of new therapeutic combinations that demonstrate minimum side effect and maximum benefit. If confirmed, this will form a basis for future clinical trials of such combination. But the problem is that who takes this, and there is the field is very open to many research. The opportunities and future direction, the re-establishment of intellectual property for repositioning drugs may solve major problem of practical uses. Repositioning drugs could have pave the way to new and more effective treatment for patients with cancer. Hence, more research are needed. Masuda et al. Compares this research for repurposing to finding it's like finding a baseball player talent in active soccer players. It is a choice, not easy. The European Medicine Agency in Europe, the National Institute of Health, and the FDA in the United States have already launched a program to identify new uses of existing drugs developed by the pharmaceutical industry. The REDO project, which is a very nice project, really, is an international collaboration initiated by several researchers, clinicians, and patient advocates. It has focused exclusively on the potential use of approved non-cancer modulation as source of new anti-cancer treatment. Information about the project is available online. It is the link. The website will periodically update to make information available to oncologists as new drugs are added to the database or as new data become available for the drug listed in the database. In Japan, 3 Japanese pharmaceutical companies have started joint implementation of drug discovery in 2027. This is called joint open innovation of drug repositioning using a drug repositioning compound library constructed by these companies. Philanthropic and foundation like Cure Within Reach in the United States funded over 90 projects at more than 50 different institutions worldwide. Unless Clark Sebido update this data now, after this lecture, that cover drugs in general, including cancer drugs, devices, and nutraceutical repurposing research. The REDO project is I'm sorry. Okay. In chapter 24 and in the next lecture, in the next video, Dr. Clark Sebido, Vice President Cure Within Reach, reveals opportunity for research projects in new low-middle income countries. It is hoped that researchers from low-middle income countries would contribute more in the scientific movement. It is win-win situation. And this is our reference, our book. This is the reference, and this is other also reference. Could African and low-middle income countries contribute scientifically in global cancer care? Yes, Opportunity and future direction also continued, although the chapter focus on representing example of drug repurposing related to cancer, repurposing drugs, and in general, nutraceutical diagnostic procedure and treatment device. An example, we see here an exciting publication about the repurposing of devices and procedures. Cosmetics laser may boost the effectiveness of certain anti-cancer therapy, for example, melanoma. Immune checkpoint inhibitor have revolutionized treatment for patients with melanoma, although not all patients respond. The cosmetic laser is known also as fractional laser. When Massachusetts General Hospital applied cosmetic fractional laser to tumor, it was able to induce a form of local inflammation that imitate the presence of a mutation, strongly enhance immune attacks against non-mutated tumor protein, thereby curing many mice with tumors that otherwise did not respond to immunotherapy. New mechanism, we understand now. Moreover, the researcher found that exposing the melanoma cell to ultraviolet radiation caused them to mutate more. A winning position statement regarding repurposing the repositioning of drug according to the definition cited in the beginning of this chapter deserves scientific studies, but should not be confused in terms of either definition or regulation with the repurposing of drug and device. All these types are important, but should be differentiated according to the definition. This in the pipelines, the positioning, but other is approved already. Required action. Please note, knowing that any call or advocation will have any effective value except if it's adopted, improved, more developed, owned, led by many in the world, all of you, all the world. We don't claim any praise or patent. All colleagues in the world, not all the world, all colleagues and interested people in the world, stakeholder, scientific people. We don't claim any praise or patent. The real achievement will be done if the initiative belongs to all. Among our calls of win-win international scientific initiatives are: 1, international campaign for the repurposing and reposition of drugs, nutraceutical procedure and device, international campaign. 2, global repository for projects, new ideas and proposals for repurposing and repositioning drugs and devices. Please, for societies and all, please consider these suggestions. It have no value except if it adopted by many. International campaign for the repurposing and composition of drugs, nutraceutical and procedure and device. An international campaign for formation, for increased awareness, importance of this approach and collaboration is aligned with the proposed global win-win effort and campaign to increase access to healthcare. We support the notion that the topics of repurposing and repositioning should be a part of interest of all organizations and big cancer societies, please, and their conferences, please, and publication and journals. Global repository for project, new ideas and proposals for repurposing and repositioning drugs and devices. In the last chapter of reference, chapter 45, where the last lecture of this program, we present and we propose the formation of a think tank for approaches that could lead to increased affordability of better value cancer care in the world. One of the scientific approaches that need a world-based repository is repurposing and repositioning in drugs and devices and prognosis and treatment. As mentioned above, the REDO project is a very important and leading project in this field. Another example is that of Cure Within Reach, introduced in the next lecture, where repurposing stakeholder can read hundreds of public research. Read hundreds of public abstracts for research projects submitted to Cure Within Reach. Going to the concept of the win-win. According to the concept of win-win movement, we are completing, not challenging or replacing any. The previous project could be important sources for a global virtual repository where researchers in the industry stakeholders could submit their ideas, can be spied freely by published finding, new scientific idea and preliminary proposal for research or approaches or for funding for research online, exchange views and potentially collaborate or form partnership. Alternatively, our proposal could simply be adopted or taken by one of the existing repurposing data project and extended to include virtual global forum for repurposing and repositioning medicine procedure and device. Not necessarily to be a new repository. It could be a development of existing project. Once again, our clear objective is that we are not seeking any credit for ourselves, but we wish to see remarkable progress in the effective efforts to increase affordability of cancer care for patients in the world, regardless who the doers are. The notion of the win-win movement implies that the initiative does not aim to prevent manufacture of new drugs, not at all, and device from gaining and flourishing. To the contrary, all will win. It's doubtful that the big pharmaceutical firm will be able to follow their goal in the future using the old model of developing exclusive new drugs that can be sold at high prices. Think about this. Industries, big pharmaceutical, policymakers, think about this. Economists, think about this. Oncologists, think about this. In addition to the economic impact of pandemic or any upcoming strain, COVID-19, or any upcoming strain or crisis or conflicts of any sort, the potential for post-pandemic challenge or post-conflict, whatever, numerous drugs will be coming of patent in the next few years, opening the way for generics and eliminating an important source for industrial profiles. Hence, there is a need to search for innovative strategic action that position company as a continuous winner. Think about this. All will win. It will be mandatory that all level of management, particularly the top strategic planning level, will carry out the extraordinary task of creating innovative strategic action and of preparing and informing all of their companies' human resources and using innovative tactics and strategies. One of the main approaches that we see is that it could be beneficial for some industry to invest in research for repurposing of their products, hence increasing the chance of gaining more from an increase in sales due to different indication and uses in the forthcoming years. On the other hand, from the point of view of the win-win global model, this could be one of several smart methods for sustainable increase of access to expensive treatment with global win-win campaign, and not as a dispersed or solitary endeavor here and there that could be undertaken for opportunistic and very short-term benefits, but something sustainable. And at the end of this lecture, we say to all audience leader who will watch this video now and in the future, all stakeholders and key players in the world, we count on all of you to advocate for this message and lead these global initiatives that belongs to all. Please feel free to modify, suggest, adopt, and implement what you see convenient. It is yours. Thank you all for your attention, and looking forward to hearing from you and going forward, as I said, to always in fruitful cooperation. Thank you all. Thank you for listening. We are looking to the pleasure of hearing from all of you. Chat, emails, searching for the web. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Claire Thibodeau, and I'm the Vice President of Scientific Affairs with Cures Within Reach. I'm really excited to be part of the Approaching Global Oncology Implementing Science course, and today I'll be talking about the opportunity for repurposed therapies in low and lower middle income countries. So before we get started, I just want to share a few definitions to make sure we're all on the same page. When Cures Within Reach talks about repurposing, what we mean is taking a therapy, whether it's a device, a drug, a nutraceutical, that's already been approved for human use and testing it in a new disease area. This is different than what is called repositioning or rescue, where there's a human safe compound, hasn't made it all the way to regulatory approval, and then a researcher takes this compound and tests it in a different disease area. So the key difference is that repurposing uses already approved therapies. So for those of you who don't know us, Cures Within Reach is a nonprofit based in Chicago in the United States. And for 15 years now, we have been focused on finding and funding clinical repurposing trials. This is a way to test already approved therapies to drive more treatments to more patients. We are disease agnostic, we are geography agnostic, we're population agnostic. What matters to us is repurposing. And then we work with our funding partners and donors to fund in areas of their particular interest. And we really believe that repurposing is an important focus because it is a fast, less risky, safer, and more efficient option for addressing the more than 7,000 unmet medical needs that are out there. It doesn't take the place of new drug development, but it's certainly an important complement to that. And where we really like to fund is the proof of concept or phase 1 stage of clinical research. These are important catalytic seed funds that allow researchers to get enough data to show proof of concept and then leverage that data into larger clinical trial funding. We are also indifferent to commercial value. What we focus on is the potential patient impact of the projects we fund. We are currently funding 44 ongoing clinical repurposing trials. Again, you can go to our website to learn more about these trials. I won't get into all the details, but there are a couple points I would like to share. Currently, 27% of our portfolio is made up of oncology projects, and that range is usually pretty consistent between 20 and 30%. In addition, we are funding in 10 different countries. Many of the projects are in the United States, but we have 9 other countries in both Europe and low and lower middle income countries where we do have funded research. So even though we are agnostic, we do have communities that are just areas of interest that we have that our projects, our funded projects kind of naturally gravitate to. And in the disease category, oncology is certainly one of those communities. In fact, right now we have 13 ongoing trials in oncology, and we have 3 that are approved, which we expect to start very soon. Cures Within Reach has a long history of funding projects in oncology, dating all the way back to Vincent Rajkumar at the Mayo Clinic. We funded some of his early research looking at thalidomide to treat multiple myeloma. Fast forward a couple years and thalidomide is approved by the FDA. From there, it was approved specifically for multiple myeloma. From there, industry picked up on the research and went on to develop lenalidomide, which is still a standard of care for these patients. And Cures Within Reach, we have multiple success stories in oncology, and we do realize that success can come at many different stages. It's not always FDA approval, but it can be funding for follow-on trials from government funders. It can also be developing tools and new uses for a second or third or fourth indication for repurposing. In addition, sometimes industry is very interested in the work funded by Cures Within Reach and may also contribute to follow-on funding to advance the research. So going back to our communities, we do have a population community focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. And to us, this really is three parts in the DEI story, 2 of which are US focused, looking to support underrepresented researchers and also to address health disparities experienced by underserved patients. And we do use the National Institutes of Health definition for both of those categories. We currently have 4 ongoing oncology trials in our US DEI portfolio, with a 5th slated to start very soon. The third part of our DEI community actually overlaps with one of our geographic communities, and that's low and lower middle income countries, or LMICs, which will be the focus of the rest of my talk. Cures Within Reach really began to be interested in funding research in LMICs when we realized there was a lot of opportunity, not only to build needed clinical capacity or clinical research capacity in LMICs, but also to find treatments for patients in these countries who may not have access to other therapies. So this is really important too with oncology patients when perhaps the medications are too expensive or just not available in LMICs. It becomes very important for researchers to be able to use readily available local therapies to help local patients. Cures Within Reach launched our first regrow funding opportunity in late 2019. And again, these were grants for any clinical repurposing research project in any disease area from any PI based in a low or lower middle income country as defined by the World Bank. And since then, we've really had a tremendous response to this funding opportunity. We see lots of applications come to our door interested in this funding. And just like our current portfolio, the percentage of oncology projects that we get is consistently between 20 and 30% of the submissions we receive. So far, we have funded 9 projects in LMICs. These are in Kenya, Nigeria, Vietnam, India, Bangladesh, Madagascar, and Zambia, and they cover a wide range of disease areas. So I'd like to take just a couple minutes to talk about our funded project in triple-negative breast cancer in Nigeria. This is taking a very common and widely available antibiotic, clofazimine, and adding it to the typical chemotherapy regimen for triple-negative breast cancer, which can be a very deadly type of breast cancer. Preclinical research has shown that this antibiotic can really enhance the effectiveness of chemotherapy. And now Dr. Atara Ntekem in Nigeria is testing this to see if it also holds true among humans in breast cancer patients. So not only are we funding the disease itself, a project in the specific oncology space, but also supporting a researcher who has a real passion and interest in cancer control in Nigeria and by extension through other LMIC countries. We also have funded projects that are infectious disease based, tuberculosis, leishmaniasis, and chronic pediatric ear infections. And we also fund more common diseases. We have an epilepsy project in Zambia. We have a atopic dermatitis project in Madagascar, which is actually using a repurposed oncology drug, methotrexate. So there's another opportunity for oncology repurposing to impact global health by using oncology drugs in a non-oncology application. We also have a chronic pancreatitis project that we're funding in India. Chronic pancreatitis can be a risk factor for pancreatic cancer. So by improving patient outcomes in chronic pancreatitis by using N-acetylcysteine and simvastatin, a lipid-lowering drug, perhaps we have the opportunity to also lower the risk for pancreatic cancer. And then finally, we also fund other diseases and conditions that come across our desk, including snakebite in Kenya using a metal poisoning drug. And again, the use of another oncology drug to treat a rare pediatric liver disease in Vietnam. So before I wrap up, I just want to share some lessons learned from Cures Within Reach. And I think that they can all sort of be summed up in the headline that collaboration is key. It's really important to work with others who are working in LMICs, learn from them, work with them, bring their perspectives in. So for example, we really rely on other eligibility measures that are already established. Again, the World Bank definition of an LMIC, the WHO's criteria for good laboratory practice or good clinical practice. And again, this doesn't just limit itself to LMICs. The same holds true for our US DEI populations as well. We learned so much by hearing from other stakeholders and their perspectives, not only when we were planning the research, the Regrow initiative, but also as we evaluate the research that is submitted to us for funding. Our grant review committee not only includes different professional perspectives, whether it's a researcher, a clinician, an industry, a global health expert, but also different geographies. This is a global committee, so reviewers come from the US, from Europe, and from LMICs. And finally, I think this is the most important, is work with other supportive organizations to help advance your goals. When Cures Within Reach started working in LMICs, we had no relationships, we had no experience, but we knew other organizations that did. So we worked with them to help us with outreach, to help us find those ideas that we wouldn't normally see. And that's one reason why we do continue to get a strong number of oncology projects. We work with organizations that have an oncology focus. So having those supportive organizations can really influence the types of projects that are submitted to our funding opportunities. So thank you so much for your time today. If you are interested in learning more about our work, please visit our website. You can find us on social media, or you can email me directly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thibodeau, Claire Thibodeau, and I don't like to waste the time, but I am sorry that I pronounced your name Thibodeau. I tried to pronounce it in English, but it is the correct is French, and my second language is French, by the way. And Thibodeau mean brave. It's old French word, mean brave. So the floor is yours. If you would like to add some comments before asking the participant if they have any chat or any question, please do.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Ahmed. I appreciate that. You pronounced my name better than a lot of people, so don't worry about that part. Again, I just want to thank you for having me today. I do have a couple updates. We recorded that video back in the fall, and we did have some additional projects that we funded through our Regrow program, which I just want to share with the group. So again, we had another very successful submission round. We had 35 different submissions from 17 different countries, very exciting. And more than 20% of those submissions were in oncology. So in 2023, we approved 4 projects for funding, 2 trials in Uganda, one of which is looking at obstructed labor, so child and maternal health. Another one looking at pediatric sickle cell anemia. We have our first project in Benin, where we're looking at Bureli ulcer. And then finally, and this goes in great with the announcement that you made at the top of the session about the Cancer Care Center in Tanzania, we did approve an acute myeloid leukemia project in Tanzania. So we're very excited to get that one underway soon. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I do also want to mention that we will be funding additional trials, LMIC-based trials in 2024. So there will be more information about that coming out on our website, probably later in February. So I do encourage everyone to visit our website or reach out to me directly if you have a question about that. I do see a question in the chat about the funding amounts. This year, we expect it to be between $60,000 and $65,000 for US per project. So again, just to kind of give you an update on the AML project in Tanzania, it is a metronomic chemotherapy project looking at the effect of that combination with the standard of care of cytarabine. So when patients currently in Tanzania are diagnosed with AML, they're prescribed a low dose of cytarabine, which tends to be more of a palliative care rather than something to really try and fight and treat the disease. So our PI in Tanzania is looking at a double-blind randomized trial combining some cancer drugs with non-cancer drugs, again, in the metronomic chemotherapy format. This is the first of kind type of project like this in sub-Saharan Africa. And we're really hopeful that if this trial is successful in Tanzania, again, it will be a successful treatment for other LMIC countries as well. So we do expect this to start in the next several months. We will put this on our website once it does start, and stay tuned to see its progress. So that's what's going on in our LMIC world. Just to kind of give you a quick update of oncology in the US. As I mentioned in the video, we had 13 ongoing and 3 that are approved. So now we have 16 ongoing. Which is fabulous. Our new oncology projects are in breast cancer, osteosarcoma, and in blood cancers. In addition, we had 3 new trials approved, but not yet started, approved in 2023. And these also cover breast cancer, prostate cancer, and other solid tumors. So we're very excited about the repurposing projects we have in oncology around the world, and are very hopeful for the patient impact that they'll have. And then just finally, for our non-oncology projects in LMICs, I'll give you a quick update there. We have 3 projects now completed. Our snakebite and pediatric ear infection projects are completed, and even more exciting, our TB project, using not a cancer drug, but a lipid lowering drug to help in TB, has received $300,000 in additional funding to do the next trial. So we're really hopeful that that kind of success can be repeated for our oncology projects in LMICs, as well as all of our other projects. So I know that's a lot of updates. I'm going to pause there, and I'm happy to take any questions that anyone has.
Thank you very much, Dr. Claire. And as you said, Dr. Thibodeau, that you will always have the email if the not only this session, but after. And if any of our colleagues or the colleagues of their colleagues would like anything about repurpose, just send to me or to Will or something, that we will connect you if they forget your email. And we forward always your announcement to many colleagues. So it contains your website and contain email. So please, this is to all colleagues, we ask them to, this is a very open way to add something to cancer patient. I see here my brother, Professor Will Negwa, who also may speak, give us a hint about this great project in Tanzania. As Dr. Thibodeau said, Tanzania, and there's something about Tanzania in the pocket of Professor Wilfred Negwa, and this very great project he will launch. They will launch it next week. Will, please, if you give us a hint. He went, maybe. Anyway, he maybe he is not connected now. Next week will be launched, as we said, a center of excellence in Tanzania for Tanzania and East Africa. It is founded and by the USA. It is part also of the maybe it connected to the win-win moonshot initiative of President Biden and the United States. So it is will be representative of White House, and all will be there in Tanzania next week. I'll be there virtually, and we hope that this not be just cancer of excellence. Maybe there is, as you said, Dr. Tibido, a chance for repurposed drugs that will serve people there and in the world in general, because science is serving all. If any of you, our colleague, would like to add something or have question, I would like to hear from Dr. Taufik from Nigeria. If he's there.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Claire. Good evening, everyone. Good day, wherever we are in the world. I would rather go to the GOIS website first and really get to know what exactly is going on. But I'm really very excited that the first slide you gave, with respect to the grants that were given, was one of our colleagues whom I was trying to get hold of earlier on this morning. So I was really very excited that Dr. Atara Ntekim, because I was approached yesterday by a pharmaceutical colleague here on something, and I felt probably, why don't you ask, get the thoughts of Atara? And I sent him something this morning expecting to hear his feedback. And then lo and behold, something is being said about what is going on today. So I just quickly screenshot this and send it to him. Now, come on, guy, you need to let me know how far you have proceeded with this. So this is really getting more and more exciting, and it shows how, the world is actually turning out to be a very global village. And I want to seize this opportunity, having listened to you, Dr. Thibodeau, for the great work that GOIS is really doing. Just like I mentioned, I'll go back to your website and really get gist of exactly what is going on there, and then we'll take it over from there. Thank you very much, Prof, for the good work too. And then my colleagues who have come around again today, I think there are quite a number of them, on the call today. I think it will get better, hopefully, by the time we move on to the real radiotherapy and oncology proper. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye now.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Professor Taufik is one of the leaders really of this initiative, and we're awaiting his lecture, one of his lecture in the upcoming series of radiation oncology and clinical oncology. Professor Ahmed Badib, if you are there, if you would like to add something. You are on mute now, but do you hear me? I can't hear you. So we'll come to you back and try again after. Yes.
And the activity file showed maybe.
It's something is a connection. So we'll come to you back. Maybe our colleague Professor Bashkim, they're from North Macedonia. He's out. Dr. Fifi, don't be shy. Where is Dr. Fifi? Dr. Fifi is there. Unmute your mic, please. Dr. Fifi helped in the last presentations about systemic chemotherapy in this course. Okay. If there is any other colleague would like to add something, please chat now or send email after. We close now if you agree all. Okay. To Dr. Thibodeau, we thank you very much for your contribution today. But your contribution is always with us, supporting the Global Oncology University, supporting the Global Oncology Implementing Science, supporting the Win-Win Initiative by your great work. Thank you, and we are together. Dr. Muhammad Salama, hello. Yes, hello. Hello, Muhammad Betat Abu Salama. So thank you very much, and we'll keep contact and be always together. And please, we count on you also in promoting, in sending information about this message to increase affordability of better value cancer care in the world via science. Via science. Dr. Ahmed Badib, thank you, Professor Ahmed Badib. He sent that. Thank you for the great initiative. Please be with us always and be in contact together. Okay. Thank you all. And the next Wednesday at the same time, we'll have a very interesting continuation of many exciting things. All are related to increase affordability of better value cancer care via scientific, we are in Yemen. This is Professor Ahmed Badib. We are in Yemen in real need for such cooperation. Yes, please. These youth, this win-win initiative, and all our who are the leaders like Dr. Thibodeau, I'm sorry, are working for the service of all. So it is yours. Please, cooperation with colleagues of Yemen and everywhere. Thank you. We will close now until but we are together always online for chatting, for everything. This is a living book, living course. All our courses are recorded and always present at your service. And please forward these courses, webinars to all your colleagues. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.